coaches are hired to be fired. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I have nothing but the warmest feelings for everybody. This is a dream come true, to be able to come home.
He denied any bitterness, but couldn't wait to get back to New York. And Ray Rhodes couldn't wait to tackle the head coaching job a man with 5 Super Bowl rings richly deserved. Tonight they meet in much more than a routine preseason matchup. Ray and the Eagles, Richie and the Jets, right here, right now.
And welcome to Jackson, Mississippi. At Veterans Memorial Stadium, the Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Jets in the second preseason game for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were victorious over the Atlanta Falcons last week. And going against the New York Jets, the invocation right now, Rich Kotite coming back as head coach of the Jets against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and Randall Cunningham leading the Eagles again, and no love lost between those two, but this is just a preseason game, and both Rich Kotite and Ray Rhodes looking to see what they have in their team. Right now, let's go down to the field and for the end of the invocation and our national anthem. In the path of righteousness, for it is in the name of your Son Jesus that we ask it. Amen. Dick Stockton along with Matt Millen as the Eagles go against the Jets, and the big story this week, the offensive line. 11-year veteran Guy McIntyre was picked up, and what does that do to the offensive line picture for Ray Rhodes?
Yeah, well, right off the start, you think it's going to give him some depth, but actually it gives him more than that. You know, he played in San Francisco in the system and also in Green Bay, so he's familiar with John Gruden and Ray Rhodes' scheme. You can plug him right in, and also, because they're losing Bernard Williams the first 6 weeks, it allows them to shuffle the line a little bit. Tonight we'll see a little bit of Lester Holmes out at tackle and shuffle things around, so it's good.
McIntyre will see action, won't start, however. What about the tight end position? Because it looks like there's a tremendous battle royal going on there.
Yeah, well, they brought a bunch of guys in. They really expected somebody to step up. And, you know, Reggie Johnson, Maurice Johnson, Jimmy Johnson, they all came in. They have not been productive. Reggie Johnson's the guy they expected to really take over that Jay Novacek kind of thing, or Brent Jones in that San Francisco offense, catch a lot of balls. So far, he has not done that. Tonight, they're going to be graded pretty hard.
And, of course, the story of Rich Kotite, who happens to be coaching against his former team in Jackson, Mississippi, of all places.
Yeah, and he says all the right things. He's, you know, actually, I think he could run for governor right now because he's very politically correct. But you and I had a chance to talk to him right before the game, and I think he'd like to come out here taking a couple swings.
He said if this were a regular season game, there'd be a lot more emotion. It's not. He says there isn't an emotion. Only Rich Kotite knows what's going on inside. And we'll be back for more here at Jackson as the Jets go against the Eagles. Last preseason NFL game played here at Veterans Memorial Stadium was 25 years ago, and the featured attraction was Archie Manning, who was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. But, of course, Manning was an All-American and a great hero at Ole Miss, where the Mississippi team plays some of their games. And right now, let's go down to the field to the third member of our team, Don Tollefson. Don?
Thanks very much, Dick. As you and Matt know, at preseason games, lots of times there's a lot of schmoozing between the players and coaches on both teams because it is not regular season intensity. But tonight, Rich Kotite did not spend any time talking to his former players on the Eagles. However, before the game, he spent a little time with his former owner, Jeffrey Lurie. It was kind of like one of those presidential photo opportunities, if you will.
We'll get into it in about two weeks. Everything's good.
That's great. Well, this couldn't be finer. Listen, I wish you the best of luck.
You too, my friend.
Hope you dominate the AFC East one of these days.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
Okay, Rich.
Well, a relatively warm welcome between the two. The man who fired Rich Kotite, Jeffrey Lurie, on what is a very warm evening here in Jackson, Mississippi. It may be 7 o'clock at night local time, but it is still very warm. Right now, 92 degrees, very hot and humid, or as they like to say down south, it is syrupy here, but we have a beautiful turf, and we have a college atmosphere here. This stadium holds 62,500. There's over 40 right now. It may go up into the 50s, and people have paid between $25 and $100 for a ticket to see this game, a preseason game between the Eagles and the Jets. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Don, thank you very much. And Ray Rhodes getting set for the second edition of the preseason. And Ray, of course, looking at other positions for fights. Was pleased with the offense last week, and John Gruden with what they amassed. You know, teams are not scoring that many points in preseason, Matt. Last night, Atlanta got a lot against Miami, but 25 was a pretty good number.
Yeah, they were pleased with the point production. They weren't pleased with inside the 20. They addressed that. We'll see a lot of it this week. I think the biggest thing, though, that he's going to address is moving people around, seeing what they can do in the offensive line. And he stressed specifically that last week was a good starting point, but we got a long way to go.
Referee is Jerry Austin, and we're going to have the coin toss here. And Don was talking about the heat and humidity, which you would expect in August in the Deep South. One thing we should also say, the field is in terrific condition. And in fact, many of the players before the game said that this was definitely NFL quality caliber field before. It's natural grass, so the players have no compunctions about doing what they want to do on the turf.
Well, there's a lot of heat and humidity down there, but if you watched that pregame piece and you saw Lurie and Kotite talking, there was a lot of hot air being blown around between the two of them.
Yeah, you have to run into air conditioning after seeing that.
That was pretty good.
I'll tell you one thing, and why would it be any other confrontation? It would be a meeting. Obviously, as Rich Kotite told us, I was unemployed for 3 hours.
Right.
I went to have a dinner in Philadelphia. 3 hours later, I had a job.
Yeah. And he was pleased with it. He pleased me back in New York. And, you know, Jeff Lurie has his man in there with Ray Rhodes. So, hey, both things come out pretty good.
The Jets have won the toss, and they will receive. They will be going from right to left, and there's Boomer Esiason, who will take the team out first. The veteran left-hander, who's Rich Kotite's choice to be the quarterback once again, and the predominant color is obviously green. There's Gary Anderson, who kicked so successfully last week. Anderson with 6 field goals. Dexter Carter and Anthony Parker are back deep. There is Carter, the former San Francisco 49er return specialist, who's going to get a chance to run the ball as well out of the backfield.
He's really looking forward to being a bigger part of the offense.
Anderson's kickoff, and it's deep enough, and it's going to Carter at the goal line. And Dexter Carter, with a penalty flag down, is buried at the 20-yard line by Mark Woodard. And the penalty marker down, usually that is against the receiving team. We'll wait and see. There's Boomer getting ready to go out for his first foray.
During the run back, holding, number 50, 10 yards, first down.
And Glenn Cadrez guilty of holding, so that'll set the Jets back to the 10-yard line. So Boomer Esiason in his 12th year, Matt Willig, Roger Duffy, Dave Alexander, the former Eagle, Siupeli Malamala, and James Brown. On the offensive line, Adrian Morrell getting a chance. Other Jet backs are injured. Brad Baxter, the fullback, Ryan Yarbrough and Stevie Anderson, the wide receivers, and Johnny Mitchell, their outstanding tight end. Starting from the I formation, from the 10-yard line. And play action. That's Esiason's specialty, and the pass is caught at the 21. And the reception is made by Johnny Mitchell, the tight end, although he was covered pretty well by number 36 in the secondary, Michael Zordich. Fuller, Shalinsky starting in place of Harmon. Rhett Hall, the former 49er, and rookie Mike Mamula, the number 1 pick, defensive end. Bill Romanowski, Kurt Gouveia, and William Thomas, the linebackers. In the secondary, McMillan and Frazier are the cornerbacks, and Zordich and Jackson both coming over for fine games against Atlanta, the safeties. First down on the 22.
81!
Stevie Anderson goes in motion, and the first running play, and a good hole up the middle. And a gain by Brad Baxter. Make that Greg Jackson on the tackle, and a gain of 8 yards.
Well, they went right to the middle of that Eagle defense, and that has been a concern for Ray Rhodes, and one that he's really wanted to address. He feels pretty comfortable with his defensive line in terms of numbers. He likes his ends, Mamula and Fuller, but inside he likes Rhett Hall, and then Shalinsky's got to come through. They need Andy Harmon healthy, and really he's looking for somebody who can be an anchor. Even talked about Fridge coming back and dropping that load in the middle.
Adrian Morrell picked up 8 yards, getting his chance here with Anderson injured. Second down and 2 at the 30-yard line. Showing blitz and not coming of the Eagles, and Esiason's pass is incomplete.
Incomplete pass.
Pretty impressive. Intended for Yarbrough.
Yeah, pretty impressive right at the start. They're on a third play out. The Eagles walk up a safety and give him a different look, and right away Esiason checks out of it. So, you know, that tells you that they're a lot further along than you'd almost expect them to be in week 2. The guys are pretty much on the same page.
And Frazier, of course, with Eric Allen going to New Orleans. Allen did not have a particularly good year, but he had a pretty good reputation. And there's
a guy right there that they got to get back in the lineup. That's Andy Harmon. And he pulled his groin. Real productive guy inside. Not overly big. Just come off of a new haircut. Pretty productive.
He's off to a good start with a new haircut. Third down and 2. Esiason getting protection, and the pass tipped incomplete. And off the hands of Kurt Gouveia, the former Redskin, and a couple of dual Super Bowl rings on that Philadelphia Eagles defense. And good pressure that time by Mike Shalinsky.
A nice job by Gouveia in his drop, and a good job of getting some pressure inside from that tackle position with Shalinsky.
Brian Wagner will kick, and back deep is Jess Seidner, who's going to get a chance as well as a receiver today. Good kick by Wagner. Seidner running up at the 28-yard line. Slippery moves by Jeff Seidner will give the Eagles good field position. Cadrez making the tackle on a 15-yard return. No score. Philadelphia taking over on offense for the first time. Jets managed 1 first down before the Eagle defense held, and now Randall Cunningham, who was in for 33 plays last week before giving way. We'll see how many he's in for today. The offensive line, much discussed. The rookie Barrett Brooks, Joe Panos, who's looking awfully good at guard, Rollie McKenzie, the ex-Redskin, Lester Holmes, and Antone Davis. Mentioned we'll see Guy McIntyre, Ricky Waters, and Kevin Turner the backs, Barnett Williams the wide receivers, and Reggie Johnson, number 80, starts at tight end. On the 42-yard line, Barnett goes in motion, and Cunningham will throw on first down, and the pass is complete to Barnett. And Barnett Drop toward midfield and a good gain of about 7 yards. Marvin Jones, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. Defensively for the New York Jets, Marvin Washington, Matt Brock, who got praise from Coach Kotype before the game, Eric Howard, the ex-Giant, and Donald Evans at right end. He's very impressed with his linebacking core of Bobby Houston, Marvin Jones, and Mo Lewis, who should be a pass rusher. Aaron Glenn, Todd Scott, Gary Jones,